very pleasant good morning to all of our viewers. So, on behalf of PLDT Enterprise, it is my pleasure to be joining you all for today's session as we discuss how life and work after COVID may look like, the new normal, or day zero, as we would like to call it in PLDT and Smart. As we all should have realized by now, there is simply no going back after this, but that necessarily doesn't have to be a bad thing. Initially, we came into this mode of work thinking it would be a temporary situation. We were so focused on instigating a sense of normalcy that we didn't realize this period would actually be history in the making. But in fact, the longer we're able to thrive in this situation, we find that we're all the more resilient and agile. And that, to me, should be the guiding mindset. We have no choice but to survive, thrive, and evolve. Similar tectonic shifts have happened in our past and will continue to happen during our lifetimes and for the generations to follow. One thing that's interesting, though, or defining, is that with COVID, every possible walk of life was affected at the same time. An interesting analogy that I heard during a webinar by a prominent business school is a comparison with the previous global crisis, which was the global financial crisis of 2008. If each industry was represented by parts of the human body, the global financial crisis was like a devastating heart attack, which then required the heart to be strengthened, else it would continue to affect every part of the human body. COVID, on the other hand, is like taking a hard fall into a ditch when hiking, where all parts of the body are bruised and injured. Those parts of the body are like industries. All are affected, some parts more than most, but all have to cope and transform so that we can get out of this ditch or ravine. And we cannot guarantee that we will never fall again. We at PLDT and Smart are honored and driven to play a critical role in this transformation. We are front and center in the state of necessary connectedness and will work with you to help you through your journeys. We're also evolving with you at the same time, and allow me to share some examples as to how we at PLDT and Smart are making our transition. With ECQ and GCQ still in full effect across the country, connectivity and technology stand as our key lifeline and drivers of normalcy. As we have also been impacted by COVID, we needed to be extra creative, detailed, and resourceful in managing the way we maintain our networks and ensure that it runs at peak quality. We have seen at least a 20% increase in overall usage, but now with tropical depression, which is now a typhoon, Ambo is in town. It added another dimension in needing to be agile to mitigate risk from possible damage its rains and winds might bring. This has required us to be resourceful given the varying constraints imposed by unpredictable situations. While not perfect, it is necessary for our business and all of our customers to remain operational. We've also been surveying our employees, and it is fairly unanimous that most are working more hours than ever before. We try our best to keep a keen eye out for employee well-being, but we're proud to also say that productivity has also been at an all-time high. There have been so many attempts to go paperless, for example, in the past, and here comes COVID, and now we're paperless almost overnight. Meetings are more frequent, but shorter and more effective. Quarterly updates are now monthly. Monthlies are about weekly, and we have 15 to 30-minute daily stand-up meetings as well. And along with increasing everyone's digital quotient, I think everyone in the entire organization have become better public speakers and also faster typers in a short amount of time. Pretty much every facet of the organization has been disrupted by the pandemic. But again, while this isn't the most comfortable thing, being flexible enough to adapt to change is what has allowed us to deliver on our promise of providing the best possible customer experience. In particular, we at PLDT Enterprise are focused on making a positive impact on every single business. Previously, we used to hold about 600 events in a year, with attendees ranging from 30 to 3,000. Today, we made the shift to an online-first mindset, really owning the webinar space. This flexibility has allowed us to interact better and reach more customers. From 3,000, we've been able to capture a viewership of 300,000 and growing. In the words of our Chairman and CEO, Mr. Manuel V. Pangilinan, technology is the ultimate equalizer of opportunity. And we see this truth manifested in our day-to-day activities and endeavors. While the current setup imposes many restrictions, it also provides us with the freedom to reinvent our organizations in novel ways. Similarly, this situation has allowed us to better collaborate internally as well as with our partners and customers. And that's the best thing about going into day zero. It allows for change that affects the majority. And while we're still in a period of transition, studying what best practices can and should be across industries, we're holding discussions with our clients to have an intimate understanding of what the market today needs. Let's face it, there's no longer a one-size-fits-all solution because this period is so volatile. But this only serves as an opportunity to be closer to our market and deliver services relevant to their needs and requirements. As you can see, yes, we're headed towards an all-new normal, but that's a good thing. Change is happening before our very eyes, and it's allowing us to reinvent ourselves for the better. In the words of the late General Electric CEO Jack Welch, change before you have to. And if I may add to this, I'd like to say, change before you have to. It's the only way to thrive, whether in work, play, or life. Thank you very much.